Yes.
Hi, Gyan. Thank you so much for joining us on Blitz Business. It's such a pleasure to have you.
Thank you so much for hosting me on your platform.
Awesome. So let's talk a little bit about yourself. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
When someone asks me myself, it's a very open question and very difficult to answer because we don't know what is aligned with that. But I come from Bihar. I come from a very small village in Bihar. And I don't know whether you have heard of Jawahar Navodaya Vidyalaya. It's a kind of chain of school which provide free education to kind of underprivileged people from rural India also. So I think I was fortunate enough that I could complete my education because of Jawahar Navodaya Vidyalaya. I got selected in that. And, the journey has been so far on education front. Did engineering, but eventually realized that my heart is somewhere in social sector. So when I was in IT Kharagpur, I started volunteering, and that gave me the confidence to pursue social service as a full time career. So I left my job in 2015 and did SBI Youth for India Fellowship. It's a 13-month fellowship where you go to village, spend time with villager, and while living with them, you try to do your bit and work on one particular issue which is close to your heart. The fellowship which I did in 2015, it gave me the purpose of my life. And after that, I'm part of this Youth for India team and currently, looking after fellowship for last many years.
So before we jump into the fellowship, so this is a typical trend, right? People do engineering, or maybe parents are like, do engineering, then do whatever, or that's the first thing, and then people sort of then find their interest or something.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And and I talked about it on different platform also. Generally, when we take decision regarding graduation, when we are in maybe 12th, correct? And most probably when we are in 10th, because depending on which subject you take in 12th, the kind of it also restrict the option which you have. So, and I have my younger brother, and when they were in 12th, it's very difficult to expect a student who are in 12th to take decision about their life, what career path is suitable for them and what career path they will align themselves. And as a journey, every person, they evolve with time. They become different human being altogether on personal level and on professional level also. So I feel it's not just engineering. In many sector, after graduation and after working in sector for a few years, sometimes you feel that the decision which you took during 12th, that might be right decision at that point of time, but now you have changed as a person, and it's very fair to pursue which you feel connected to. And that's why whenever I see there is a change, I feel happy that people are pursuing their passion at any point of their life. As long as you are enjoying your work and you feel connected to your work, I think we should definitely pursue that.
I think that's very well said, because the decision taken in that time and context is right. Right? You had only this much information, so you did whatever best, and then times change, the context changed, things change, and you're like, okay, now maybe this is better. So yeah, but the courage to have that, I think it's the bigger, like, to be able to then say, no, this is what I want to do. Be aware of yourself, and yeah, take that call.
Correct. Yes.
Awesome. So tell us, Gyan. So what is so I am hearing first time about this fellowship. What it is all about.
So SBI Youth for India Fellowship started in 2011. And if you look at we are trying to connect urban rural, the gap which is there. And at one end, you will find many on the ground for last many years, and they are doing amazing work, awesome work on the ground. You can see the outcome also. But even after doing so much and for so many years, if you ask them if there is a need of something more, if there is a need of trying something new, the answer is always unanimous that yes, there is a need of trying something new, there is a need of doing something more. So this is one space. And on the other side, there are, passionate, urban, educated youth who are in different sector, not development sector. They are engineer, they are doctor, they are lawyer, they are MBA grad, And after spending some time in the sector, they feel that their heart is somewhere else. They want to go back to village. They want to contribute to the society. But there are very limited platform for such people to change the sector. Unfortunately, uh, at this point of time also, if you apply for a job in development sector, you are definitely, your resume is going to be assessed based on your education qualification, your work experience, and that's how the thing process. But these people, these urban youth, they are on boundary. They are working in maybe other sector. They are in factory. They are lawyer, but they also have the passion for development sector. So they are not very confident that they want to jump the ship at this moment, but they are definitely sure that they would like to try it. So our fellowship give them a platform to, okay, come, we are not assessing your profile based on your education qualification or work experience. Even if you don't have any knowledge of development sector, come, try your hand, be with the community for 13 months. And at the end of the 13 months, see whether you feel connected to this sector. If you feel connected to rural India, if you feel connected to any social cause. And if answer is yes, bingo, you found the purpose of your life. And then you can pursue in whatever sector you feel connected to. And that, we are very proud that 70% of our fellow, they decided to stay in development sector after completion of the fellowship. So this fellowship is connecting, basically giving such youth a platform to go to village, live with the villager, and while living with the villager, there are so many issues on the ground. They can choose a issue which is close to their heart and do something about it. Do this delta change during the 13 months. That's what, as a fellowship, we are doing.
Feeling tempted to apply. So, so what are the top, let's say, three big issues in rural India which needs such sort of support, like top three, irrespective of the person, like top three categories or issues.
I will answer your top three part, but based on our learning of last 14 years, what we have seen is the situation in village change from one village to another. The top three can be different in one village. If you go to state village in Rajasthan, water is definitely going to be one of the top three. Education, health is definitely very common everywhere if you see. But depending on the location also, the top three might change. It can be livelihood somewhere. It can be health. But if health system is proper, then obviously top three will change in that particular village. But in general, what we have seen, it is education, livelihood, health, water. These are the kind of area where we see that our fellows are working also, and they find it as a common issue in every village.
And how does the fellow sort of identify they want to two things, which part of India they want to work, which village they want to work? Do they have that flexibility, or it just like you just rotate, or how does someone get allocated to a village?
Correct. Also, I have given the kind of basic framework of this fellowship, but if you look deeper, we are building a set of young change maker. So these 70% of our alumni, when they enter into development sector, they have different mindset. They keep community at center. They think about community first and then other factor. So we are also building a kind of future leader. So keeping that in mind, we also realize that for that person should also go through self discovery. So we place fellow kind of different from their native state. So if someone is from south, we try to place them in north eastern part of India. Similarly, if someone is from east, we try to place them in west or south. So there is a saying, internal saying that see, mark your native state on your map and go as far as you can. and the farthest point is your village point. And there is a, and we have seen how it is working also. If you place a fellow from far away from the native state in new culture, first they are getting exposed to new culture, new people, and it also challenges them. And they are coming out of their comfort zone. And when they deal with such challenge, they also discover themselves that okay, the threshold which they have set for themselves while living in their house and where they were very comfortable, suddenly they realize that they have much more potential than what they were doing. So it is working pretty well for us when we place them in new state. So, but obviously they have the freedom to choose thematic area. So we are working in 12 thematic area, like as I said, education, livelihood, women empowerment, health, water, technology, governance. So we have list of 12 thematic area, and we give freedom to fellow to choose the thematic area. So they can choose the thematic area, but we see the alignment of fellow and the thematic area and the NGO, and then we place them in a village.
This sort of feels like, I think I had a similar experience. So recently I visited an ashram in
Okay.
Karnataka. So it was way out of my comfort zone. So it was basically there is a Guruji and you spend time with them, helping her for different activities. So it was like first time I cut crops, animal shelter. So I assume that is sort of the structure of the fellowship. We're doing day-to-day activity based on that theme. That's what I can correlate in my head when you were saying these things. So all of these things I've never done, cutting ragi crop to animal shelter to I don't know what all I did. We're in heat. So I assume it's something like that. That's how their day to day will look like.
Correct, correct. And our life is full of experience, and somewhere the way we behave in society, it is also dependent on our past experience, also what we have seen around us. And when they are getting exposed to new culture and the kind of challenge community is facing in that culture, they evolve as a person, they evolve as a professional also. And we have seen such change. If you meet our fellow in first 3 4 months, they will be struggling with the different kind of challenge, stay, food, travel, and other kind of logistics. Weather is definitely one of them. But when you are going to meet them during valediction, oh my God, they are so overwhelmed with the change in themselves. It's a self-discovery path, because the same challenge you are able to take care of those challenge, and now you have discovered that you are much more than what you were thinking about yourself.
So basically, can I say they become far away from all Moh Maya? They get
I would say that there are different kind of characteristic, which you can see in our alumni when they complete the fellowship. First, they are more humble, because on the ground you see people, kind of just managing their daily life, getting food for one time, and without all facility, they are also very very happy. So such experience, they get so much warmth from the villager. And it is very common in our alumni that I have found another family, पे था दूसरा घर यहाँ पे, and they are still in touch with the community member. So uh, so the relationship is much deeper, and I think person to person, it has different kind of effect on the people also, when you see such kind of change.
and are there multiple fellow working in the same village, or it's only one, or how does it work? Like
So we place two fellow
two fellow.
in 2 to 3 fellow in a village. They might be working in, because village boundary is also kind of very close by. So they might be living together and working in nearby villages, or maybe they are working in same village and living. But they are kind of, we place fellow at the same location, so that they are also kind of, they need support of each other also during this challenging journey, challenging and but very satisfying journey.
And I assume they get some stipend to or something.
Correct, correct. So we have a stipend for our fellow. If you look at monthly uh, overall financial support, it is 19,000. Out of 19,000, 16,000 is as a stipend. 2,000 we pay them for their local travel allowance. And 1,000 we also keep them for some minor expenses which they might be using it for their project related expenses. So in total it is 19,000. But since we are also placing them far away from their native state, we also realize that they have to learn the local language. So we have language support also. So they can go for tuition, language tuition, and we take care of their language tuition fee for, 4 to 5 months.
That's amazing. Like, that's amazing. Like, it's such a great initiative. Like, and so there's so any story, Gyan, from your side which stands out for you? Like, kya, matlab, what amazing thing he she did, or some sort of story if you have, which you can share with us, like, which is like amazing.
I think the whole journey is full of story, full of transformation. And one transformation is definitely at fellow level. And we always talk about it, and we talk about it with so much pride that you talk to our alumni, any random alumni, and 90% of our alumni, they will tell you that this fellowship was life-changing experience. And that's what we get. We get this feedback from other sources. And it is because they live with the community. The story, transformational story, I think I have a few. The one which comes to my mind right away, because last year only we visited the location. So Sasan Singh, he was from, and in 2015-16, he went to Rajasthan and he was working with Barefoot College. And as I said, water is definitely a top issue in Rajasthan. So he was working in a village, Chotanarayana, and their water was definitely a issue. During summertime, the chapakal in those areas used to get dry, and the water for cattle also they used to go very far away to fetch the water for cattle. So Sasank mobilized the villager, and with the help of villager and the some external crowdfunding and support also, eventually they kind of reached a old kind of lake, very big lake, and it took I think few months to complete this task. The mobilizing the community, you know, raising the fund and getting things done was a very, very difficult task, but eventually it was done. And last year, when fast forward, I'm going to, I went there and I was meeting the community to see कैसा है आपका lake and all those things. And when we entered, the first thing is everyone is, no one cares that okay, कोई बड़ी गाड़ी घुसी है और कौन बड़े लोग आए हैं. Everyone is talking about Sasank. कि Sasank कैसे भैया, and because Sasank was also going after a few years, and everyone is, happy to see Sasank.
Hmm.
जैसे मिलते हैं अपने, रिलेटिव से वैसे ही कि अच्छा कैसे हो, क्या चल रहा है, and all those things. And then बाद में चर्चा हुई उनके काम की कि how deeply he was connected to the village. वो तालाब अभी भी चल रहा है एंड जो गांव वाले बताए हैं मैं वही अभी शेयर करना चाहूंगा कि वो तालाब ऐसा है कि इतना है कि वहां पे इट वाज वेरी स्ट्रेटेजिकली आल्सो लोकेशन वाज सेलेक्ट. तो वो जितने भी बारिश जो राजस्थान में है से होती भी है, लेकिन वो कहीं पे टिकता नहीं है, जिसके कारण फिर देयर इज नो स्टोरेज. सो इट वाज वेरी स्ट्रेटेजिक लोकेशन. तो जो बारिश होती थी एक अच्छा खासा चारागाह का एरिया पे सारा पानी वहां पे स्टोर हो और ईयर लॉन्ग वो सूखता नहीं, तो में भी उसमें
Wow.
पानी होते हैं. तो जो जानवर हैं जो सफर करते थे ड्यूरिंग समर, दे दे गॉट रिलीफ है. और चूंकि पानी वहां पे दैट एरिया इज नाउ वेट, द चारागाह में जो प्लांट्स हैं वो भी ग्रीनरी. लेकिन जो सबसे ज्यादा इम्पोर्टेंट माइलस्टोन मुझे लग रहा है कि गांव वाले बोलते हैं कि जो पहले चापाकल सूख जाते थे गर्मी के दिनों में, वो बिकॉज ऑफ ग्राउंड वाटर रिचार्ज ओवर द ईयर, नाउ वो चापाकल सूख नहीं रहे हैं आसपास के 4-5 गांव में. शुरू में देखने में छोटा प्रोजेक्ट लग रहा था कि ठीक है तालाब खुदवा दिया मिल करके, ठीक है हो गया. बट आफ्टर सो मेनी ईयर यू सी द बिगर आउटकम. द बिगर आउटकम इज कि चापाकल में पानी सूख नहीं रहा है. और जो जानवर के बारे में बहुत कम ही लोग सोचते हैं, तो जानवरों के लिए सालों भर का एक वहां पे पानी का व्यवस्था हो गया है, चारा का व्यवस्था हो गया है. तो 4-5 विलेज दे आर फुल्ली डिपेंडेंट ऑन दिस पर्टिकुलर तालाब। दिस इज जस्ट दी एंड एंड वहीं पे कि शशांक उनके गांव का बच्चा हो गया है। क्या शशांक तो अपना घर का है बेटा, जो मिल करके कर रहे हैं नौतों से। सो इट्स नॉट अबाउट प्रोजेक्ट, इट्स अबाउट द रिलेशनशिप, इट्स अबाउट द community coming together to do something. So there are so many stories like that which inspire us, which kind of gives us the confidence ki, yes, I think we still have hope, and together we can do much more. And our youth, uh, they just need a platform. They just need a some guidance, and they are ready to do much more than what they are currently. So Sasank again, because इसका एक असर भी होता है खुद के लाइफ पे। शशांक उसके बाद he stayed and he worked with Barefoot College for few years, उनके साथ थे। फिर बाद में उनको लगा कि जो जहां से वो आए हैं बिहार झारखंड से भी वो कुछ करना, तो he started his own NGO.
I mean, such an amazing story and initiative, and I'm like so amazed. मतलब अभी तक it didn't come to like मैंने कहीं देखा नहीं सुना नहीं, or maybe I just skipped over, But it's such a good initiative to for people to be part of in that. And then I think disconnect बहुत है, at least in what I see in corporate world or whatever it is, that purpose is a issue, is a problem. Like many people कर तो रहे हैं काम, but उसमें नहीं
जी
है.
जी again, personally, it's my personal thought that uh, it's not necessary and it's not important कि सारे लोग development sector join. I think people are contributing. Many of them are still contributing. My father was kind of a farmer come small business, but uh, he has done for the village more than I did in so far 30 years. So, and I've seen many people, my friends also, and other people, that they are definitely doing great work. What is important is finding your passion and pursuing your passion. Because if you pursue your passion, somewhere you start enjoying your work. And if you start enjoying your work, with time you start also getting better at your work. And eventually the kind of contribution which you are going to do is going to be much better than the place where you are not happy. 70% development sector में, but जो 30% है, when they go join the corporate also, I think they are also playing very important role. यदि आप जो हमारे alumni हैं, मान लीजिए किसी मैन्युफैक्चरिंग कंपनी में चले गए हैं, and then they are making product, and those product यदि वो गांव में जाने वाले हैं, वो प्रोडक्ट दे हैव वेरी फर्स्ट हैंड एक्सपीरियंस ऑफ द विलेज इकोसिस्टम। पता है कि गांव वाले कितना पैसा देंगे, उनके दिमाग में क्या चल रहा होगा प्रोडक्ट खरीदने समय, और उनको किससे दिक्कत आएगी, किससे दिक्कत नहीं आएगी, उनके लिए कंफर्ट क्या है। तो दे आर गोइंग टू मेक प्रोडक्ट, दे आर गोइंग टू मेक सर्विसेज, कीपिंग पीपल एट सेंटर, which is very important. Whatever
No,
you're
that's
doing, you're keeping people at center. That उनकी लाइफ कैसे बेहतर हो। सोशल सेक्टर तो है ही, लेकिन आप लोगों की लाइफ बेहतर कर सकते हो बहुत अलग अलग तरीके से। फार्मर में you can talk about small tools for better agriculture product. There are so many challenges which we can talk about. इसलिए दोनों जगह पे लोगों की जरूरत है, ऐसे
no,
लोग
that
जो
is
कि कम्युनिटी के सेंटर में।
एक क्वेश्चन जो हम पे बहुत रेगुलरली आता है, which we just touched upon. Some people ask, we don't know हमारा पैशन क्या है, then what should we do? We don't know what we are passionate about. उसमें आप क्या करोगे?
उसमें हमारे बहुत सारे that is something which is very common, and which is very common in our fellows, and a few of them they feel that they are lost. First we have to acknowledge that it is fine, it is completely fine to be lost. As a human being, is completely fine to be lost. Okay? That's completely fine, because if we normalize that feeling lost is normal, then people will open. बिकॉज पहले समझना होगा कि हम लोग लॉस्ट हैं, और फिर उसके बाद आगे होगी कि ठीक है फिर आगे फिर क्या करें। और आगे में जो हमारे फेलो कर रहे हैं और जो हम लोगों ने सीखा है आ, अपने 14 साल के जर्नी फेलोशिप की, इट्स इम्पोर्टेंट टू ट्राई। यदि आपके पास लग रहा है कि ये 4 चीज है जहां पे आपका दिल धड़क रहा है, आई एम यूजिंग द वर्ड दिल धड़कना बिकॉज दैट्स वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट टू फाइंड पर्पस। तो यदि 4 चीज़ है आपके टेबल पे, जिसको देख करके आपको लग रहा है कि इसमें मेरा दिल धड़कता है, तो ओके, लेट्स ट्राई, लेट्स स्टार्ट विद द फर्स्ट थिंग, एंड once you try, then only you will know whether this is something which you would like to pursue, or this is something which you don't like to pursue. If after trying you realize that okay, no, this is not something.
Correct.
Eventually you are
Correct.
moving forward, और इवेंचुअली इस 10
Correct.
में से ही कोई एक है जो आपका पर्पस होगा, लाइफ का पर्पस. इट्स इंपॉर्टेंट टू एक्नॉलेज फीलिंग लॉस्ट इज फाइन. It's important to try out of possible option, and then be fine with that. Okay, if it is not working, don't get discouraged. Go for next possible thing which you feel like trying, and that's the journey. Purpose तो मेरे ख्याल से एक journey है. Eventually you realize that okay, हाँ, this is something I would like to pursue.
I think that's very well said, and maybe that's why it's called lost and found. You have to acknowledge कि वो गुमा है तभी तो कुछ मिलेगा.
जी, जी.
And then I remember there was an entrepreneur who came to our show few weeks back. They're doing excellently well, and he opened up. So they were doing 300 crore, 400 crore, whatever. He said, Ashish, एक problem है. And for what happened, like on live, he was telling, he said, I feel emptiness. I don't enjoy. He said, people will do anything to be in your position to do a 300 crore turnover. And he said, no, I don't feel. So, but he acknowledged, and then he sort of trying different things in different paths. So, but yeah, I think it resonates well with many. And what you said, acknowledge that you are lost and try the paths. Wonderful, wonderful. Thank you so much, Gyan. It was such a pleasure to understand, discover, and understand कि क्या हो रहा है and how people are actually impacting on ground. So, thank you so much for your time.
It was nice interacting with you, and I think the words are not enough of what our alumni they go through, our fellow they go through, and what kind of change this fellowship bring in their life. ये ऐसा experience है जब आप खुद से जिएंगे तभी आप actually justify कर पाएंगे. And there are a lot of stories on ground, and it's always very engaging for me.
बिल्कुल, anytime. I was तो going to say, please take me on ground.
Uh, very interesting stories on ground, and बहुत सारे गांव वाले हैं जो अच्छा चेंज कर रहे हैं. Just to because हम लोग गांव वालों की बात कर रहे हैं, I also like to add one more story. तो प्रतिभा थी, प्रतिभा 2014-15 बैच की है. And when I was talking about this story, मेरे दिमाग में वो बहनें, तो प्रतिभा 2014-15 की बैच की थी, और उन्होंने बायफ एनजीओ के साथ उत्तराखंड में खेती खान एक है गांव, वो चंपावत डिस्ट्रिक्ट में पड़ता है. वहां पे वो जाकर के प्रोजेक्ट कर रही थी. जब गांव में वो गई तो उनको लगा कि माइग्रेशन इज वेरी कॉमन इन दैट पर्टिकुलर एरिया. चले जाते हैं यहाँ से, और जो वाइफ है वो बच्चे संभाल रही है, घर संभाल, जानवर संभाल, और काइंड ऑफ लाइवलीहुड वाज वन ऑफ दिस. तो फिर प्रतिभा को लगा कि बहनों को क्या आता है, तो वो लोग घर के लिए स्वेटर खुद से ही निटिंग. तो बोले कि अच्छा, यदि निटिंग ऑलरेडी एक एग्जिस्टिंग स्किल है, क्या हम लोग निटिंग को यूज करके कोई बिजनेस चालू करें. ये 2014-15 की. तो उन्होंने फेलोशिप के दौरान 6 से 7 बहनों के साथ ये नीटिंग. आफ्टर कंप्लीशन ऑफ फेलोशिप शी डिसाइडेड टू स्टे बैक इन द विलेज. वो बहनों के साथ सी सेड की हम लोग एक बिजनेस चालू करेंगे नाम से उन्होंने फिर एक बिजनेस चालू किया, सोसा एंटरप्राइज. वो नीटिंग के थ्रू डिफरेंट प्रोडक्ट, और टाइम के वो वहीं पे थी. पहला 5 साल प्रतिभा वाज टेकिंग लीड टू स्टेबलाइज द बिजनेस, बट लास्ट 3-4 ईयर से बहने फ्रंट, प्रतिभा बैक पे चले गई हैं
पीछे.
कि आप लोग संभालिए.
Wow, wow. Lovely.
At this moment, more than 200 women, they are getting livelihood from this particular business.
That is so satisfying. As an individual who can, for her, I can imagine, what she did. So that's amazing.
तो बहुत सारे वही बहनों की स्टोरी है और गांव वालों की स्टोरी हम लोग आपको
Definitely,
जो है अलग एक्सपीरियंस के लिए जो फिर हम लोग मिलते हैं वहाँ.
definitely. No. Thank you so much for sharing this story. I think this was amazing. Both stories were amazing, and I think it's a great initiative. And thanks to you, SBI, for having that thought process and doing this. So again, I wish you really all the best, and thank you so much for your time.
Yeah, thank you, Asif. It was nice interacting with you.